Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do another update for my Pan That Palette series. Now, just to remind you, I am working on the Lorac Pro Metal palette for this year, so let me go ahead and show you what the palette looked like last time I did an update. And this is what my palette looks like now. You can see there are quite a few changes from last month, but this is just an overview, and now let's go through everything. So I'd say right off the bat, the biggest change for this month is that Cobalt is no longer there. That was the deep blue color in the palette. You know, I just knew that I wasn't going to use that shade. I think I used it 3 or 4 times this year total. I didn't love it. It was an okay blue. I think the blue color that's in the Lorac Mega Pro 2 palette is a way prettier shade of blue. And you know where I am in my life right now? I'm just not reaching for a blue eyeshadow, so I knew I wasn't going to use it, so I decided to just take it out of the palette, kind of like what I did with Onyx a couple of months ago. That was the black shade. I had hit pan in that one, but I decided to take it out because that shade I just really hated. It was a terrible eyeshadow. It was just followed everywhere. But anyways, let's go through some of the other shades in here. Then this first shade here in the palette is Quartz, and last month Quartz was actually in the Onyx shade, or part of Quartz was. I had mixed Quartz with a couple of different shades to get it to be a little bit more wearable because it was a very, very blindingly white shade and I didn't really care for it. So I had used most of that shade that was in here up, so I decided to transfer that back into the original Quartz and mix everything up together because I'd only taken a little bit out of the Quartz to mix over here. So now all of Quartz has completely changed and I really like it. And you can see I have already hit pan on that. So I know last month I said I was worried that I wasn't going to finish that by the end of the year. At the rate I'm going, I think I really will be able to finish that. I'm definitely using it like I was before in my inner corner and on my brow bone, but now I'm just using it as an all over highlight. I really, really like this shade. Let me go ahead and give you a little swatch. So this is what the Quartz shade looks like now. I'm sorry for these 2 other swatches, that was from a different video, but that is what that shade looks like right now. It's beautiful. I mixed a little bit of the amber / gilded shade in there, and then I mixed a shade from my Naked3, which I will talk about here in a couple of minutes. So it's kind of a little bit more pinky, a little bit, you know, just more wearable in general. I really, really like that shade now. And then I had previously finished off Rose Gold, so no change in that one. And then Graphite, that shade was very, very small last month and I was able to use it a couple of more times and then it just fell out. I don't remember what happened, but I kind of just knocked this a little bit. I think there was a little bit of fallout with one of the shades. I don't remember exactly, but I kind of just went like this over the garbage can to try and get some of the extra fallout out of this palette. And all of Graphite fell out, and since it fell just into the garbage, I wasn't gonna use it. So that shade is completely gone. I had used most of it, so I wasn't too upset that it kind of just all fell out. But that one is now gone, and that was the shade, if you remember, that I was using in my outer corner and under my lash line pretty regularly. So since I'm not using that shade anymore, we'll go ahead down to Clover. So I decided to use Clover in the very same way that I've been using Graphite. This is, of course, a lighter green shade, so it's not quite as deep as the Graphite shade, but it is really pretty and I'm glad that I've been getting some use out of it. I think between the two, I do prefer how Graphite looked using it that way, but Clover is okay in that way. I do love green eyeshadow, so I'm happy that I found a way to use this on a more regular basis, and I think definitely I will be able to finish that by the end of the year. So that then brings us to the shade Amber, which, if you remember, is really a mix of gilded and amber. This shade was just really, really gold, so I mixed it in with amber, and that shade is very, very close to being done. I could see myself being done with this in about a week if I continue to use it, which I should. But yeah, that is how much I have left there. I like that shade. I really, really do. And I've actually been using it wet a little bit. Just to try and intensify the shade a little bit. I've just been spraying a little bit of Fix Plus or the Mari Badescu spray on my brush, you know, every so often, definitely not every day. But I like how that works as well. It does definitely intensify it. And I like shades that you can use either wet or dry. When there are eyeshadows that you can only use wet, that's when I get annoyed with it. But if you can use it wet or dry, I don't mind, you know, every once in a while spraying a little bit of Fix Plus on my brush and having it a little bit more of an intense color, and it does look really pretty. So this shade should definitely be done by the next update, so then I'll just have the last 2, and I think there's going to be no issue with me finishing off then this entire palette minus these 2 shades by the end of the year, which is really, really exciting. So I am done talking about that palette for now, but I've decided to bring in a few more shades into this project, and they will look very familiar to you if you saw my Pan That palette from last year. So here is my trusty little Sephora Z palette full of my Naked3 shades. So I'm going to start talking about these and my updates again. I don't have the actual palette down here, so I don't remember for sure what the names of the shades are, but this is the second to lightest matte shade in the palette. It's actually the one that I was using to mix in with the quartz shade here, and it worked really, really well to tone down the frostiness of the shade. So that is what that one currently looks like. Let me give you a nice close-up of the whole palette so we have a starting point for this project, or for this part of the project I should say. So that is what this one looks like. It is a super, super densely packed shadow, so that shade will definitely be here by the end of the year. I don't see that one going very fast, which is okay. I have been working on this one for a really long time now, but that is what that one currently looks like. And then these two shades here I will start working on as all over lid shades once the amber shade is gone from the Lorac palette. And then this shade down here I don't really see myself using a whole lot by the end of the year. I will keep it in and you will be able to see the progress, but I don't anticipate there being too much of a change. But I would like to hopefully finish off both of these. That would be ideal. I think there's no way that I cannot finish that shade. I think that will be pretty easy. And then we'll see about this one here that has a little bit more shadow in it. But yeah, so that is what that looks like. And then I guess I will also try and keep track of progress on this shade down here. This is Beaches and Cream from Makeup Geek. That is just the shade that I'm currently using as an all over lid shade. Because it's in this palette, it'll be easy to keep track of the progress on this. I just started using this maybe a week ago, a week and a half ago or so, and there was some use on it already. And so it was not a completely new eyeshadow, and it's pretty soft. I didn't remember how soft this shade was, and I have actually panned an entire one of these before, and I've also panned an entire shimmery one from Makeup Geek, and then the one slightly darker than this one. I panned that in my last year's Pan That palette. So I've panned quite a few Makeup Geek shades, but I do really like this one. It works perfectly all over the lid, I feel, just to set my primer, and I think probably by next month I can definitely have some pan going on that one. So I think that that's it for this update. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. If you like Pan That palette videos, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. We can also connect on Instagram. That will be listed down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!